Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to First and Ted. We've got a Victory Wednesday. I'm, of course, Ted. Aaron from 49ers First Takes is my co-host. Aaron, how are you doing on this fine hump day?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Still flying high after flying high over the Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, huge.
Didn't expect that kind of outcome as far as blowout status, but we'll take it, right? A win's a win.
Absolutely. Yeah, it went about as well as could be expected, especially after starting so poorly, only 6 yards in the first quarter. And, 2 drives where the Eagles were just moving the ball seemingly at will, at least until the red zone, where our defense stood up and bent, but they didn't break. So,
yeah, it was a very bendy but don't break defensive effort for sure.
No doubt about it. Let's check and see who's in the audience today. Looks like things are busy. We got Renee Cruz in the house, saying Die Hard, San Francisco 49er Empire, Bang Bang Niner Gang, 49er Super Bowl Shuffle, Hot Boys, Quest for Six, Red and Gold, Gold Rush, Bay Bombers, Fog City, City by the Bay, Frisco. Pains me to say Frisco, but I guess that's cool now. I guess the one that is not cool is San Fran. When I was growing up, I felt like I was always told, don't never call it Frisco. But I think hip hop has had an influence on that in the younger generation.
California love song from Tupac. They do say Frisco in the song. So, I mean, that was from 1996. So,
yeah, well, sure. That must be what did it. And folks like that. So, it makes me look old and out of it, but that's not hard to do. So, 49ers throwback in the house, Fernando. Thanks for tuning in, Faithful. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you're on TED Talks Ball, make sure you get on over to 49ers First Takes to Aaron. Give him a like and subscribe. Same thing if you're on Aaron's channel. Do the same for me. Really helps us. Also, if you're on a browser, just open up 2 tabs. You can watch both at the same time. Just make sure that you mute one of them, or else it can get a little bit confusing and echoey. Thanks in advance, everyone, for doing that. And I'll jump in here in just a second. I'm just doing what I was preaching and opening up another tab to watch on Aaron's channel here. So,
are you a 49er preacher?
No, that would be Terror Dome. He's been preaching a lot of Purdy love for a long time, and it all seems to be coming true. I mean, I titled my my show, I titled it MV Purdy Gaining Steam, and he's apparently the front runner as of this week.
Yep.
To win the MVP award. They should just call it MVQ, Most Valuable Quarterback, because I've been pretty vocal about saying that I thought CMC is the MVP. I tweeted it today.
You know what? Listen, I know you're a guy that you need to be convinced. You don't just fall in line with everybody else's way of thinking. Which can cause a lot of adversarial reactions. But I do agree. Like, if you want to go based on a football player, I mean, Christian McCaffrey should be in the conversation as well. But as we know, it's mostly a quarterback award. And listen, 2 things can be true. Brock can have a really good setup, and he can also be playing really exceptionally well. Both can be true. Does he deserve to be in the MVP conversation? Hell yeah. He leads in like almost every statistical category that means anything. So, and he's played well. Every single game they've played against good competition, he's had 3 of the top teams. He's had fantastic games, no interceptions. So, maybe 6 weeks ago, I was like, I don't know. But, I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. And the way I look at it is when guys like Peyton Manning won, I mean, Peyton Manning had, 2 good receivers and a tight end and a running back. He was pretty loaded himself too, and he happened to be pretty good. So I'm not going to sit there and penalize Brock because of what he has with him, So I'm me, I've been a Brock supporter from jump, but I'm also a guy that will listen to other people's arguments. and not just be completely like blinded by the Brock. You know what I mean? So blinded by the Brock.
There you go, Manfred Mann and the Earth Band. Bring it back. Only the old folks will get that reference. Bashar in the house,
What's up,
49ers. Say
my
go
guy?
people. Nancy Cameron in the house saying hi to Aaron. She said
Hello,
hello
Nancy.
to everyone earlier. Raphael, we already saw. Bryant Culp in the house. Smash the like button, everyone, like Corey Davis
R.I.P. Corey.
does. R.I.P. Corey Davis. Prayers up for him, his family, everyone who knew and loved him. He'll live on in all of our memories. I wish I had gotten a chance to get to know him better. But I can tell from everyone else who was really close with him that he made a huge impact on everyone, and he'll be missed greatly. So, condolences to the family.
Let's win it this year for freaking KP, man, or KD. Let's win it for him. Come on, Niners, step your ass up. Let's do this.
Yeah, and someone was saying, maybe it was Ryan yesterday, No Borders was saying, it's not just 6 for Corey because he wanted like 7 and 8 too. So, let's be greedy. I like it.
I'm greedy too. If we can win 6, then why not bring the next one? Why not do Jordan when they won a 6 and he was doing like the one, he kept doing it,
So that reminds me of a topic from yesterday and probably a good thing to discuss today.
Sorry if I keep cracking my neck on your stream. People think there's something wrong with me. A little stiff.
Hey, as long as you can, it doesn't stick and you're like,
right.
They're all good. Yesterday during our show with the No BS TED show with Ryan from No Border Sports, he was saying we were talking about draft priorities, and all off season we talked a lot about right tackle as being a draft priority, and I'm starting to feel like honestly it's not as big a priority anymore. I feel like McKivitz is doing pretty well. I don't know. I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that. And then Ryan was saying, I said something to the effect of, yeah, we definitely need to draft a tackle because we never know when Trent Williams will retire. And I actually said, I'll just say Trent Williams will retire if we win a ring this year. And he said, no, I think Trent will want to go back to back. And I'm like, I just don't know that like the chance of going back to back versus the chance of 100% chance of going out on a high note after all these years. Like, he's like, I would do that. I'm like, well, Ryan, you haven't played 12 years in the NFL, it takes a toll on your body.
Yeah. If I was Trent and I won, I'm out.
That's what I thought.
I'm out.
That's sort of what I thought too.
With a guy that has physical limitations himself. And then you think about an NFL player the size of Trent, who has all the stuff that he's dealt with. Oh, I'm not going through another training camp and off season and then another season. No. If I get a ring, I'm out. See ya. And I don't blame them. If people get mad if that happens, you shouldn't be mad. The Niners should have a plan in place like they did with Joe Staley when he bounced. You know what I mean? If I'm the 49ers, I got to cover myself twice. Double cover yourself. I don't know, maybe bring in a free agent off in the off season and also draft an offensive tackle too. Whatever order you want to do that in, So yeah, if I'm Trent Williams, we win, I'm out. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the ring. I'm going to go retire with all my billions or millions and with the ring on his big ass hand, dude, no way. There's no way because why would you? No, what if the next year you lose in the wild card round? It's just
or don't even make the playoffs,
or you don't make the playoffs, because there's no guarantee.
That was sort of my point. You take the sure thing, you go out on top, you got your Hall of Fame career, you're golden. Not like anybody would blame him for not winning the Super Bowl, but people are funny with that kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, man, this Niners team, Ted, if they stay healthy, they have a really good shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. I really do. I really believe it. There's been years where I've been a little questionable with some of the players, but I mean, just everything. You check all the boxes, even quarterback. We have a quarterback who we don't have to worry about having to carry. He's all right. He's all right. What was the thing with Jimmy? We knew he was going to have one of those games at some point, and we had to, cover his ass where the defense has to play absolutely lights out and it's still not enough. I don't get that with Brock. Do I still have PTSD and get every time I see Brock throw over the middle? Batch is like, you still get PTSD from that? I'm like, yeah, dude, Jimmy screwed me up bad, and I love Brock, and I'm still like, oh, he made it. Okay, good,
No. Yes. Yeah, no doubt about it. John LaJoie in the house. Red Jet Shell in the house.
John LaJoie. Yay.
Hope
Red
everyone's
Jet's
having a great day.
awesome.
It's greater now that you're here, Shell. Thanks for being here. Let's see here. Another thing that was interesting, I thought, from my conversation with Ryan yesterday was we were talking about the Seahawks this weekend. It looks like they've got Lucas and Cross, both their starting tackles are back now finally. And I said, if Kenneth Walker comes back, that's a concern for me because I feel like he's a really legit running back. And Ryan said their running game doesn't scare him. He says all their guys are pass blockers, their O-line. And I just felt like, I don't know, I felt like when we played them, I said that they were missing their tackle on Kenneth Walker on Thanksgiving. And the same thing with Cowboys. They're still both out for that game. And I don't know. I just, Geno's not a world beater or anything, but, DK and Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba are really good wide receivers. And their tight ends are nothing special, but they can all block and catch. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I would hope that Kenneth Walker wouldn't play this weekend. It would concern me more that if he was playing than if he wasn't, obviously, but maybe that's not saying much.
They're not. They have players and they can play. And I feel like they're going to play a better game this coming Sunday than we got from them in Seattle, just because their backs are against the wall. The Niners win, and some other stuff happens. The Niners can win the West this Sunday, which is awesome. I think the Niners will come out fired up, just for the fact that they have a chance to win the NFC West. I do guard myself, and I think the Niners need to guard themselves with a little bit of letdown, just because, you're coming off of essentially a payback game for the NFC Championship, right? And all the players can tell you don't mean, but it did. It certainly did. You don't come to the game wearing all black just to go play another team. Like, they were going for a funeral, but it wasn't theirs. And like I said after the game too, we haven't accomplished anything yet. The Niners have not accomplished anything. Yes, we beat Seattle in Seattle. We beat the Eagles in Philly. It's got to keep going, because if we win out and they lose one game, the Eagles, we get that number 1 seed. So everything should be a concern, but everything should not be an over concern. You know what I mean? Like Kenneth Walker, their receivers, they're an NFL team. They're going to come to play. I just think it's the battle of, attrition and how things just end up working out. And I think that the 49ers will find a way to beat Seattle. It's crazy, man. Like,
they're better, man. I'm going to be there.
Oh, you're going to be at the game?
Absolutely, yeah. This is the one game.
Are we going to get
pretty much count on every year? Is that I'll be at the Seahawks game at Levi's?
Are we going to get your play-by-play Purdy ranking update?
There wasn't much fanfare for
Number
it today.
6, number 3. Oh, he's number 10.
Not much
number
fanfare.
15.
In fact, I was going to double check to even see if it even sent, because I don't recall. I didn't check for any likes, but I don't recall any. Comments. 0 comments and 1 like. So apparently people are tired of my rankings.
No.
It's more people than just you are tired of my rankings, I should say.
I'm just all about living in the moment, homie. I'm done. I get why you were doing it for a while, but it's kind of like, okay, we get it. You want to see the real thing. You want to see the Super Bowl, right? You want to see us win. And this, that, and the other. And I get all the expectations, but there has to come a point where I think personally, just for me, that I'm just like me and Bachelor talk about, I'm just here to enjoy this fucking team, dude, because they're really good and they have a chance to do something this year if they can stay healthy. And that's all I really care about. And I don't care if Brock has one bad game in the midst of a whole season of great games. It just doesn't matter to me. I can't let it. Now, if this was like a series of poor performances, then I could understand the criticism, but this man has shown out. Yes, he has a cushy job, and yes, he's got a bedlam of receivers, but so do other quarterbacks in the NFL, and they don't play as good as him on a week-to-week basis. So I'm all for just living it, and I don't care. Not saying you have to be the same, but that's me personally. I have enough anxiety from my own brain that I worry about Purdy rankings on a week-to-week basis.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I am enjoying it. We do have a super team set up before the season. Nothing has changed. In fact, if anything, we've added Chase Young to the super team. I agreed with when you said that, if healthy, we'll win the Super Bowl. I've been saying that kind of all along. And again, even before Chase Young, even more so since. Although, when people try and say, oh, the Niners D is so much better because we added Chase Young, I kind of beg to differ. I don't think he's the biggest difference on the defense. I think it's Lenore and the nickel. No more Oliver. I think it's also playing more press man coverage by our corners. I saw during the game when, it was after the Dre Greenlaw ejection and the Eagles, drove down the field and had the assistance of some penalties also. And they got down to the red zone around the 10-yard line. And we lined up like 8-9 yards off the ball. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Wilkes? This is, Mooney Ward is a press corner. He's not a zone off ball corner. Sure, as you know what, they throw it to AJ Brown to the left there, and he gets about 7, 8, 9 of the yards, and then they do a couple tush pushes, brotherly shoves. Next thing you know, they have their first TD of the game. So I think those two things are huge. I think Chase Young is up there with those, but maybe not as big as getting rid of Isaiah Oliver. And then also, moving Wilkes down from the booth, I got to give some credit there. I was wrong about that one for sure. I thought he didn't need to, and I think it definitely did. Real quick, Bash was laughing at me, so I had to bring that up. He said, old school San Franciscans hate when people say Frisco. Ha, 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 ha. It's not just old school, dude. I'm just old. You don't even need the school part.
I'm an East Coaster from Rochester, New York. So if I make that mistake, you have to give me the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. No, Bash was just laughing at me because he knows all the hip hop references and he knows how out of touch I am with that. So there's like some dual meanings going on there, and I love it, Bash. That's fine. Roast away. I deserve it. It's fine. I'm a big enough man to take it. Juan Laura in the house saying hello.
You say you're a big enough man to take it?
Oh, pause.
Pause.
Hey guys, go Niners. Welcome, Juan. Thanks for joining us. Steven in the house, don't bother me. He was saying hi.
I love that name, by the way.
Say good afternoon, faithful, and Shell was excited to see him. She said, Steven.
Don't bother me.
So Frank Ton Ocean in the house saying TNA. Love it. That's what we're going by these days. Raphael was saying RIP to Corey Davis. Absolutely. Blinded by the Brock. Oh, yeah, that was yes. And already was putting that out in my rearview mirror. But here
I'm going to be the new guy on, the guy for 90 or what is that? KNBR. It makes all the songs. He used to be, was it Paulie Mac? They need to sign me up. I'll make new songs for them.
Paulie Mac. There you go. Tunnel Road to Candlestick Park. Oh man, I miss the stick. Although less and less all the time. Levi's is starting to get a lot more zip. Dave McNiner in the house. Bash says, I think it's a matter of how banged up Trent is or whether or not he'd retire on a winning note. Yeah, I mean, but he's kind of banged up every year though. So I think
when you're that big, any lower leg injury is significant. It just is.
We never.
I was watching the other day. I was watching the other day. I was watching some Larry Allen highlights. God, was he good?
Yeah, he was incredible. Nate Newton, Larry Allen, Kevin Gogan,
Mark Toney,
all those Cowboys linemen. This is like arguably the best offensive line of all time. And Nate Newton,
I'm just saying, he's a Hall of Famer. Did I say Ray Allen?
They all should be.
Larry Allen. Man, when I watched Trent move, I watched a highlight where him and Aaron Banks were going. It was I forgot what play it was, and I'm just like, man, that's a lot of heaven and earth moving in one direction. Dude, I would be out. I'd be
Well,
like, if I'm a 195-pound DB, I'm falling down on purpose. There's no
especially
way
if
in
you
hell.
loop Kittle out there or Juice Check or someone else to chip in too, no doubt. Dash says we never draft tackles. That's the problem. Well, I wouldn't say we never draft them. We just, drafted one from Notre Dame that turned out to be a pretty big mistake. Not a huge mistake. I mean, I'm more positive about McGlinchey than most. We just reached on him is all. He shouldn't have been number 9 overall, but he's a good run blocker and obviously left something to be desired in the pass blocking. Javier Rios in the house. Que pasa, amigos? I think he meant not amigos. What's up, Javier? Yeah, there you go. Amigos right below. Where is Purdy and Ted's rankings? Well, since you asked,
here we go.
Since you asked, I mean, I was going to try and inject it anyway, but I wasn't sure if Aaron would just like quit the show if I did. Thanks for asking. I bumped him up one spot I had him at 5 to 8 last week. This week he's 4 to 7. Last week somebody asked me, "Hey, is 5 to 8 is that elite?" And I was like, "Not really. 6, 7, and 8 are not elite." And I'm even backing off that now. I'm gonna say with Rodgers and Burrow out, there's only 4 elite quarterbacks in the NFL. So he's like right on the cusp, but I'm not gonna call him elite just yet. He had a really great game against a really quality opponent. Scoring 6 TDs in a row is incredible. It hasn't been done in forever. So really happy about that. They weren't like long bombs or whatever, but he took what the Eagles D was giving. So I'm happy for him for that. No turnovers.
He was 10-11. He was like 10 of 11 versus the blitz.
Something crazy.
He's amazing. He's amazing for a guy we look at and we worry about his stature. For some reason versus the blitz, where Garoppolo is at his worst. That kid is at his best. I mean, Garoppolo is Captain Choppy Feet, right? Choppy, 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 cave in, take a sack. Or throw a pick. Or do something really dumb, like fumble the ball. And then there's Brock. Like I said, I have PTSD. I'm always waiting for the worst to happen. And Brock continually Brock's going to get me to the point where when something bad does happen, I'm going to be like, oh my God, really? You said I had zero faith in the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game. The moment we lost the lead, I knew it was. I didn't have any faith in Jimmy in that game.
No way.
And I'm not saying Brock would have done it either. I mean, he's been. I can't say the Niners have just kicked everybody's ass who they beat this year. So the Niners haven't had a chance to play a real close game. So in a way, it's kind of like not his fault. It's not our fault that we're beating everybody by 15, 20 points. You know what I mean? The only way to get better in close games is to be in a lot of them. And we haven't really been. So
that's true. I mean, I'll take the front runner action as long as we're in front when it counts.
Yes.
I'm fine with blowing people out in the Super Bowl. That's good fun.
Hell yeah, dude. You wouldn't want a Super Bowl where in the fourth quarter, it's like they're resting the starters and we're talking.
We've had a couple or 3 already like that. A couple. The
Miami
Broncos and Chargers. Dolphins, yes. Yeah, I guess technically a blowout. I felt like it was closer earlier on, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember the San Diego Chargers one leaving. I actually left wherever we were early to go home. And I remember getting the paper the next day. You should have saw my wall when I was a teenager. I had it was just like, how girls put up celebrity posters of like really cute guys and stuff. With me, it was just like 49er crap for a long time. I think I had it up there for a good year before I took it down when Dallas won the next Super Bowl. But I had like all the clippings from the championship game. One of them was like Eric Davis running it back. I forget if it was like it wasn't the local paper. I think it was like forgot USA Today maybe. It was like, I was like a teenage girl with that. It was so funny.
That's wild. I got some other folks I wanted to call out being here. James Dernall coming to us from across the pond.
What is up? Thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate it.
Perna's curse wheel landed on the Eagles. We going to get the number 1 seed. What the heck is Perna's curse wheel, man? Am I the only one who doesn't know what this is?
I don't know what Purdy's
I
curse
think
wheel is.
I think it's a British thing, if I'm guessing. But why would the British be that into the NFL? I don't know. Fill us in on what that is, James. We're all curious.
We got our guys from the UK that are into the 49ers really big time.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. There's the 49ers for the UK. And
I'm thinking. I'm really. I told them. I said. I messaged them. I said, if we got to do a show together, and I said, if we get on, dude, we got to do a show, a weekly show, something like Niners Worldwide or something. Like, got it. Like, first of all, I love foreign individuals. Anybody who's not American, I love everybody. So I'd be cool doing some 49er content for people from the UK. I'm all ready to go with that.
There you go. We got Jess from East Coast Red and Gold in the house.
And you are way behind in the comments. Holy poop.
Maybe I'll pop down to the bottom here in just a second. CJ Gray.
What's going on, Jess? Jess is coming in to see if you're going to start your rankings, and she's going to yell at you.
There you go.
Sorry, Jess. I didn't mean to blow your spot up. But
everybody likes to pile on. See here, Packers cast. Is that supposed to be 49ers cast 1? I had to block him. I got tired of his antics. Don't bother me. That's awesome. I blocked a lot of people.
Who's that? 49er cast?
Yeah, 49ers cast.
I think a lot of people have blocked him, although he did do something really funny in regards to someone I didn't like, called someone I didn't like out, and it made me very, very happy. But other than that, yeah, I think I have him blocked too.
Bryant Culp says, Brandon Perna, that's good sports. Okay. I'm not familiar, but I'll have to make myself familiar. Steven says, I love San Diego Super Bowl to Jack Murphy Stadium and watch the game. Oh, wow. Nice.
Were you like the only 49er fan in that stadium watching it? If they had it playing at Jack Murphy?
Probably not.
Or did all the Chargers fans know that they were going to get their ass wiped, so they just freaking stayed home?
I think they knew. I think everybody knew.
That game was over fast.
Back then, it was like whoever won the NFC Championship game is like you might as well just hand them in the ring. It was either the Cowboys or the Niners, and
they had Natron Means. He was pretty good.
Yeah, he means business. Natron means business. Clea Davis will take. Oh yeah, James Ronald in a different question. Before I jumped down, he had asked, who's going to take Armstead's spot. I would expect to see Clea Davis. I would expect to see T.Y. McGill.
Devon Kinlaw.
Kinlaw, yeah.
We have enough to take care of business, guys.
Brandon Perna, maybe that. So okay.
We got Jim Everett the Great down here talking about the Browns game. What does that? Yeah. Who cares?
Well, because they beat the Browns and we didn't. That's why.
Oh, so here's the thing now. It's been known that like people who don't like Purdy are stuck on that 3-game losing streak. They will not let it go.
No, because they ignore the fact that Debo and Trent were out and CMC was dinged up. That's why I was very careful not to pile on Brock. A lot of people are like, oh, you're going to start piling on Brock? You're going to jump off the train? And I was like, no, man, it took me forever to get on this thing. I'm going to wait it out and see what happens a little bit here. Because I did it because I had started to believe in him, and I still believe in him.
Hey, just remember, the year we won the Super Bowl against the Chargers, we lost 40-8 to the Eagles. Steve Young and the Niners got their ass kicked in that game. That was a bad performance. The Niners were struggling a little bit because their offensive line was so bad that year. Kind of like this year. I mean, the line's a lot better than that 94 line. But, when you talk about the 49ers and how great they are, the Niners got a bottom tier line in the NFL. No. Other than Trent Williams and Aaron Banks, you don't think so?
No. Mm-mm. No, I think we dipped into it statistically because Trent Williams was out for a few games. But with Trent, I think we're at least middle of the pack.
I disagree with you on McKivitz. I think he was getting Reddick was eating him alive in that game until the Niners started doing some movement. And then he was on skates. I loved seeing Reddick on skates in that game. He was chasing everybody for his dear life. and it was the greatest thing ever. You can't just stand there and drop back and throw against that Eagles defensive line. You gotta constantly be in motion, orbit motion, whatever they call it. You have to keep them moving. If you sit there and just sit there and wait and throw the ball, that's where they end up injuring your quarterback. So I don't know.
There you go. CJ Gray feels like you do. Right now, I'm concerned with how the team is doing more than elite quarterback.
Yeah, I really don't care.
We will have all off season to do that.
That's right. Win or lose. They lose if they don't win the Super Bowl. We could talk about it in the offseason. I'm just so focused on all I care about is Seattle right now. I'm like the team, dude. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
There you go. Well, should we talk a little bit about the matchup?
Sure.
Real quick, Bryant Culp asked a question. How many elite QBs will not make the playoffs?
There's not a ton of elite QBs in the NFL. One of them's hurt on the Jets. And one of them's in Kansas City. The Bengals is hurt. We talk elite quarterbacks like they're grown on trees. There's 3 or 4 tops in the NFL, and everybody else is essentially what Brock is or less. So this whole elite QB, when people talk about elite, it's kind of a dime a dozen. It's not like something you get out of a vending machine. It's tough to be elite, man. You know what gets you to be elite? Doing it over time. That's the only way Brock will ever get any respect, is if he has another great season next year. And then another great season after that. And then you can start to say, okay, he's the guy. No, he's elite. No one's going to give him credit. If he wins the Super Bowl and they're an integral part of winning that Super Bowl, and he plays well in that Super Bowl, then maybe he'll get his flowers. But there's still going to be people that are going to shit on him. That's just the nature of the beast.
There you go. So, like I was saying, I think Lucas is back for the Seahawks, their right tackle, so they won't have Jason Peters playing there anymore. They already had Cross back on the left tackle. I'm pretty sure they're going to get Kenneth Walker back too, because he was doubtful for the Cowboys game on Thursday. So you would assume if you're doubtful on Thursday, you're probably at least questionable by this Sunday, if not just off the injury designation altogether. But give me your thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks.
I feel that the Niners will have a similar game plan on defense. You gotta. He's not a quarterback who has elite movement skills. I think they talked about it going into this game. If you were on Twitter during the game, and if you kind of paid attention to the Niners in post game, they were talking about how, the Eagles were a team where you can't just rush the passer with reckless abandon because of the ability of the quarterback to move. Well, Geno is the complete opposite. Okay, he's essentially a pocket passer. He can move a little bit. So the Niners are going to go back to getting to play a quarterback where they feast on. And I really think defensively they can play a very similar game where they just are going to clamp on the outside and rush the passer and force Seattle to run the football and have to be effective running the football. I'll be interested to see without Armstead how they play against run defense, if it's affected in a negative way. I just think this 49er team, to be honest with you, Ted, is just a focused group who has one goal in mind. And even if they start slow against Seattle, I just don't see a way that Seattle comes in there and whoops their ass. So it doesn't seem feasible. Injuries is the only thing that can derail this thing right now, the way it's going. And I expect the Niners to be able to do pretty much what they did in the game in Seattle. Run the ball, play action. Pretty much what the Niners do, run their offense to its fullest capability. And I'm looking forward to this game against Seattle. The Niners got things to take care of. They got that division title on the line, possibly, if they can win. And forget it. Is it Minnesota or Green Bay loses? What's up, Charles? If Minnesota or Green Bay loses and the Niners win, they win the West, I think. I forget the exact way it goes, but Tommy Huxley says we're on shorter rest than them. Yeah, I know, but I think we're a better team, and I think the better team will win in the end. My only concern is that the 49ers will be a little bit coming off of a high. I wonder if you kind of feel the same way, that the Niners kind of have to avoid a little bit of like a fall back to earth with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think we definitely had it against the Browns. Part of it was injury, but part of it was the team just didn't look ready to play. So yeah, I think there's a natural letdown after you get up for a game, and it reminds me of something I saw today. I saw somebody clipped out a piece of Fred Warner's podcast with his wife, and he's like, "Oh, we all wore black. I had no idea we were all wearing black." And I'm like, "You lying SOB." Like, there's no way like
Awesome.
7 or 8 people all wear black, and it's just like, "Oh, we just all thought it was going to be their funeral." Coincidentally, I'm like, dude, that's like your nose is growing, bro. Um, but yeah, I mean, just that kind of thing. Like we were so hyper focused on the Eagles. I know right after the game, Kyle said, "Oh, we're just focused on Seattle or the Seahawks or whatever next." But you can say all you want, but the reality of the situation is that it's easier said than done to keep your focus. Like if we were playing like we did against the Eagles, and I agree with what you're saying, but I think there will be a letdown. And then we're losing Armstead, who's huge in run defense. Throw in Kenneth Walker back, who's huge running back, and again, I think it's Lucas, their right tackle, coming back.
Oh, we got Skip Bayless in the chat. Check that out.
I've seen Skip around before. He's a big fan. No doubt about it. Of you, obviously, he's in your channel though. So there you go.
He says, the only MVP is Dak Prescott. How about that? Yeah. Just remember to throw that. Just remember to throw that jersey out in the garbage when he doesn't win it.
No doubt about it. Now, and somebody said earlier in the chat that Purdy's better than Dak. I agree. I don't have Dak as an elite quarterback. But yeah, as far as the Seahawks go, they've got obviously a really good secondary, but the rest of that defense is a little bit suspect, right? I mean, you've got an aging Bobby Wagner who is still good against the run, still a great tackler, but he's not much in coverage anymore. Jordan Brooks, who had the interception against us on Thanksgiving Day, he got injured in the Cowboys game. I don't know what his status is, but he's listed in red on our lad's depth chart right now. And then, Leonard Williams is a good defensive tackle or defensive end. Where it's a 3-4, so defensive end is sort of more like a defensive tackle in our system. Jaron Reed is all right. He's kind of aging out. Mario Edwards, I don't even know who he is, honestly, is the other defensive end. Boye Mafe, he was drafted last year. Oh, by the way, Bash, if you're still in the audience, when we talked about this on Friday, I said I thought Boye Mafe was drafted at the same time as Drake Jackson in the 2022 draft, and it came up again yesterday or Monday, and I looked it up, and Boye Mafe was drafted in the same draft because Bash like, "Oh no, it was this year. I scouted him," and so I'm pulling a receipt on you.
49er said he saw it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And he said you already said.
Okay, all right. I didn't know you were watching yesterday, though. So.
My whole thing, too, when we talk about 49ers versus Seattle, the Niners right now are playing. I mean, the number one seed isn't ours. It's still the Eagles. So the Niners, I think, based off of what they want to accomplish, to be resting on your laurels when you haven't even secured your final playoff seeding would be foolhardy. By nature, do people sometimes let down in games against lesser teams after beating a really good team? Yes. I just think this team is too well coached. I think this team is just too talented. And if anything like that happens, I expect it to go away quickly. I don't think I don't know, man. I'm starting to become, I can't say overconfident with this team, but I'm starting to become where I see matchups against lesser teams, and I'm like, they're going to take care of business. I just don't see it any other way. Like I said, injuries to me are the only way that the 49ers don't reach their goal this year. And if we play Philly again, there's a good chance Philly's going to play a lot better than they did this time around. So, and I think Seattle's going to play better than this time around.
Especially if Dallas Goedert's back and they've
Yeah.
got Shaq Leonard and maybe some of their injured linebackers are back, like Zach Cunningham or Nakobe Dean. I don't know how bad Nakobe Dean's injury is.
My whole thing too is, let's go make a move. Let's make a move. If they're going to go sign Shaq Leonard, let's get ourselves Zach Ertz.
I like Zach Ertz.
Let's go make a move for Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is, would be a great compliment to Kittle. And we don't even need him. He's essentially extra.
Well, Dwelly down, Zach Ertz up. So I do. Yeah, I think we need him. I think we need a pass catching tight end because we know Warner isn't. So,
Randy Daytona says no more spending. Not when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, homie.
Spend it all, baby.
You gotta go. You gotta do it.
Right in the middle. Go all in. Get it all.
No, he's like the ATM is closed. Well, the report says that the Niners are among the top team interested, but if it happens, it would be next week. So it's not saying that the Niners are going to get him, but I think it would be a great move. The 49ers have made a couple of moves, man. The move to acquire, Redney Gregory, and then we eventually acquired, of course, the edge from the Commanders. Why is his name escaping me right now?
Chase Young.
Chase Young. And then there's this safety that I don't know about this safety that everybody was talking about that we acquired, though I guess is pretty good.
Logan Ryan. He's all right.
Logan Ryan.
He's all right.
Yeah, I had no idea who Logan Ryan was, to be honest with you. I was a little
off the street.
A lot of people were like,
he's going to be like Tashawn Gibson off the street.
Right. Well, that's what a lot of people were making me think. They were making me go, ooh, whatever, And I was just like, we'll see.
No. Sports Junkie. How is he better than Dak? I don't understand. Debo made him look. Debo, I think you meant, made him look good with Yak. Yeah, in that game. But if you look at Purdy's Yak percentage, it's actually lower than a lot of the top quarterbacks right now.
Yep. And his Yak percentage
one of my arguments.
MVP years.
Down.
His Yak percentage in MVP years, where they showed other quarterbacks during MVP seasons, he actually has the lowest Yak percentage of a lot of them.
Yeah, I think there was like 4 higher and 1.
Doesn't he lead the league in like air yards too? Like,
I'm not sure about air yards, but average yards, which does count Yak. So anyway, he's doing better than a lot of people are just making sweeping generalizations and they're not paying attention to the facts
because they don't watch the games.
That's right.
They're box score junkies. They're like, he played bad. He only had two touchdowns.
This will be interesting to see this weekend how Dak does against the Eagles. He's typically kind of owned them, had pretty good ownage against the Eagles.
Perfect comment. Dak's been riding through a cupcake schedule. He's going to drop off with a look of the teams he's going up against in the home stretch. Randy's a washed bum.
Randy Gregory?
Are we having a little bit of infighting here right now? What's happening?
I think he's talking to Jim Everett the Great. But who's a Randy on the Rams? But when the wolves come hunting, he throws it to us. That's right.
Yeah, Raphael made a good point. He said Purdy this season is 4-1 and Dak is 0-2 versus winning teams. So,
yeah, that's huge. If the Finns guy got fired because Terry took a phone call and did a flip, Malkoff has to go. Oh, it's one of your people, Aaron. What are you going to do? Dom DeSanto.
What do you mean, one of my people?
Italian. I mean, I know you're Sicilian, but
he's a big fat freaking Italian guy. I don't like him. He's like a disgrace. I don't like him. Bigfoot slob. Man, bro, that was Greenlaw, and somebody touched me, and I'm in the midst of playing, and my adrenaline's going. That guy's would have been eating his teeth. I give him a lot of credit for pulling off that punch. He pulled that punch.
He did.
Man, oh man, that would have been nice to connect on that guy. Who the hell do you think you are? You're a security guard that's supposed to be up in the stands, uh, not being a personal protector of their mouthy head coach who talks a ton of s all the time, and then he's got it's the ultimate bully scenario where you got a guy that runs his trap, right, a yapper, but then he's got someone watching his back. It's like perfect. I mean, if that doesn't fit into the whole, the 49ers needed to go out back and whoop the bully in the back, like that nothing. I mean, that was the perfect scenario. The bully mouthed off and Dre Greenlaw almost knocked him out. Like it couldn't have got any better. I have my
at least it
brother
would have been
ended up-
worth it then, I'd love it if he had knocked him out, because like as it was, it's like he like barely even touched the guy. He
Right.
gets ejected. It's like I thought it was so bull.
It's funny that my brother, talk about Italian. My brother got like a couple of these like boxing gloves you could hang in your car. One of them says Ireland, the other one says Italy. Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
I'm a half breed. So, but my Italian side, he's like an American Italian, which means he probably calls sauce gravy, which nobody in their right mind in Italy calls sauce gravy. It's only the American people. So,
I thought that was just like Long Island that did that.
Them, the people of Boston, gravy. Nobody calls it gravy. My mom, when she watches Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with me, and we get those American Italians on there, oh my gosh, my mom loses her mind. We're just like, shut up. It's so bad.
Hiroski says, Ted, who do you think we make a move for? Daniels, Penix Jr., or Caleb Williams? I mean, we made a move for a quarterback, and look how that worked out. So I don't think we'll be making any moves. I think that first-round pick will be used for a tackle. We may move up for a tackle, but I don't think we'll.
I'm the Niners. I'm with a team that doesn't have a lot of holes. Yeah, I'm taking some picks, and I'm trying to align myself in a spot to go get an offensive tackle.
I'm still going to.
You cannot go into the season next year and not have a plan at offensive tackle. Even if Trent Williams decides to come back, you have to make it to where your drafting is almost to say he's not coming back. And then if he does come back, then you have a guy you can kick at right tackle for a year. And then when he retires, the perfect transition, boom, he goes over to left tackle. Yeah, Niners aren't wasting their time on a quarterback. We got our quarterback. His name's Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
Got to let go of the fantasy of this big arm, big guy quarterback with the huge arm and this and that.
I don't think Trubisky has that fantasy. He was just saying to mock me, like, because as if I want to get rid of
you.
Brock Purdy. No, it's fine. It's fine. But I just so you know, I think that was like an inside jab there.
What do you think about the 49ers letting go of Ty Davis-Price?
TDP? I mean,
how?
TDP we never see, so who cares?
I can't believe
Honestly,
that.
I don't care. I really don't care.
I
mean, he's a third-round running back, so you knew it was his destiny, dude. It was like, what third-round running back has ever made it on this team? So you knew it was just a matter of time. And we needed safeties, right? We lost Huff, and then we lost what's his bucket? George Odom.
Odom, yeah.
Yeah. For a couple months at least, if not the whole season. So with a bicep tear and surgery. So
Laura says she wants homemade Italian meal from my mom. She's on her way.
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
CJ says we're going after the 1 seed. That might be easier said than done, because even if the Eagles lose to the Cowboys this weekend, we still have the Ravens on Christmas Day.
Yep.
And a lot of the power rankings have us on top now, and guess who's number 2 in most of them? The Ravens. And that's
the Niners haven't accomplished anything yet. That's it. I was really happy after the Eagles game, but then I'm like, really haven't done anything. We're doing what we're expected. Sound like what's his name from what's it? I Love Lucy. We're doing what we expected to do. We're doing what we are expected to do. We got to go out. The Niners have to win out, essentially. And then they just got to depend on the kindness of the Eagles if they're going to lose a game. The Eagles, the great thing would be if the Eagles dropped a couple back-to-backers, and then all of a sudden the 49ers, could rest on the last week of the season. But knowing the 49ers and the way things go, we're going to be playing through the final week of the season. There's no way.
I'll give you a Tinkerbell, Tommy.
Hey-o.
TDP was a Ricci. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
There's Eddie in the house. Enjoy it, Laura. Sounds awesome. Be safe.
I'll go to my house.
Oh, okay. There you go. Nice.
Whatever.
Aaron loves Dime Store online.
No, I don't. I want to. I think
Ted
likes the Dime Store O-lines.
Daewon Jones. Absolutely. Bash was on that one. I agree with Bash there.
Yeah, Bash. I can believe, because the 49ers do it all the time, every single year. But I can't believe, Bash was so right. We had a chance to draft an offensive tackle of the future. And we draft another running back. We reach for a kicker. It's just, like I said before, Ted, the 49ers sometimes draft like they've won the Super Bowl. They're very kind of just like sloppy with some of these mid-round picks. Like, bro, haven't
look at our
made
2023 draft. There's like
Ghost Town. It every year. They are very cavalier with some of these mid-round picks.
Ghost Town in 2023. Yeah. Bash says Sirianni had the Italian flag on his hat, but he wears visors, doesn't he, Bash? He's a visor guy like me. I hate to claim that, but him.
When you got a big head, like we do, you got to do it. You got to do it whatever it takes, whether it's wear a visor or cover up your giant 5 head with the hat. Even though I got beautiful red hair, I have a 5 head, so I got to cover it up with the hat. See, nobody sees it. I had somebody ask me one time. They're like, "Yo, First Takes, are you bald?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "We never see your hair." So I took my hat off, and they're like, "Whoa, you got a 5 head." I'm like, "That's why I never take my hat off."
There you go. Yeah, Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels are both visor guys, but Josh McDaniels, will he ever be a head coach again? I think not. So let's take him off the list. There's Eddie. Dom is honorary time because he ate so much pizza and pasta. I like it.
It's funny that he got referred to by somebody on the KNBR staff as a fat ass guy. And it's exactly what I said during the game while my brother and me were watching. I'm like, who's this fat ass freaking putting his hand on players' insurance? My brother's like, geez. And I'm just like, no, but it's what he is. He's freaking, who are you, man? I was so mad.
Jalen Carter was crying. Oh, man.
Yeah, we beat them so bad we made their draft pick cry, man. That was great. That was so good. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, he was standing behind the coach sniffling.
I haven't got through my rewatch yet. I'm in about the 3rd quarter, so that's probably why. Paul Blart karaoke. Walk-off is entitled.
He does look like the guy that goes to the pizza place that's offering if you can eat the whole pizza, you get it for free, and he's done it like multiple times. Like they're like, dude, stop coming here. We need to make money.
Well, I mean, I think one big story of the game was our defense. I mean, as far as when I wrote my preview article before the game, I was saying that, the Niners offense and the Eagles offense were both top-notch O's. I thought the difference would be the defense. I just didn't think we would hold them to only 19 points.
Crazy.
Yeah, actually, I guess I did. I predicted 20-17, but I thought it was going to be a lot wetter. I thought it was going to be raining the whole time when I wrote the article. So I
thought the score differential would be a lot closer. I think it was, what did I have? 24-20, and we won 42-19. So
it's crazy.
I know that some of the people that were predicting the game were predicting that the Niners were going to smack them. Some outlets. I don't know if it was like New York outlets or some other national outlets that were talking. Some of them were saying I don't think the game's going to be close. And I'm thinking, are you fucking serious? They're the defending NFC champs. Their Niners are not going to smoke them. And they did. And it's really, I'm like, how did that happen? The Niners essentially gave up a couple field goals early on, stemmed the tide. And then all of a sudden I was like, it didn't matter what they were doing on defense. The Niners were just moving the ball at ease down the field, and I was like shocked. I still shocked that they won by this score that they did. Because if you look at Philly's defensive line and Philly's team as a whole, they're a really talented team. I think the Niners are a more talented team as far as, players across the board. But when healthy, that defensive line with Fletcher Cox and Reddick and all those guys, they're amazing.
They just had no linebackers.
Yeah, and their secondary, if you get to them, the talk is that they can be had in the secondary. Their tackling was abysmal in that game. I mean, Debo wasn't going to be denied, Ted. You knew that. You knew he wasn't going to. You knew when Debo got.
How many times have I said
You're right.
That
I fell in love with the whole
will get you the
Ayuk
fluff
thing.
yards and the easy games, but when push comes to shove in the tough games, Debo's a guy you want with the ball in your hand. And that's
right. You are right. And the one thing about Ayuk I noticed is Ayuk doesn't really show up in big games per se. It's Debo. Yeah, Ayuk will make big catches and stuff, but he's not the guy that you go to if you're needing a score to close out a game, to put a game on ice. Him running that second touchdown where he got a bunch of yak yards, waving to the crowd. I actually waved to the crowd too I usually don't do that kind of stuff because I'm always like, oh, they're going to come back. Someone's going to get hurt. I was like, bye-bye. See ya. See you in a month or so when we face you in the play. Like, dude, oh, that was beautiful. And I kind of fell in love with the whole Ayuk thing too. And I think this is where me and Bash have, like, when we want to argue we always say, like, Ayuk is a really good weapon, but as far as a receiver, like top receiver, he's not that. He's just not. If we want to be realistic with, as a whole, the Niners have a really good set of weapons, but if you kind of break them down individually, they're not exactly like top 5 guys. Debo's not even really considered a wide receiver. Debo's like a running back / fullback / whatever. So I think what it is for this offense and for what we like to do and our particular brand of ball, it all works. You put Debo on other teams, I don't know if he's as productive, to be honest with you. I just don't think teams would know how to use him. So
I'm with you there. Yeah, I feel like they all benefit from each other, and
yep, I agree.
They all benefit, especially from CMC. I feel like CMC has this gravity like Steph Curry has, where all the eyes are on him.
Mm-hmm.
There's just less eyes on everybody else. So CJ Gray says you'd rather see Logan Ryan at safety than Oliver. Absolutely. I'd rather see anybody at safety than Isaiah Oliver. Thank God we got him off the field. Don't put him back on the field for any reason.
He's not good.
No, I mean, not in coverage. He's good at the line of scrimmage. He's a good tackler, but just such a liability in coverage. And I know strong safety isn't necessarily known for having to cover a lot, but it's still, I would be shocked if he was better than Logan Ryan at that position.
Randy Daytona said the Chiefs would love Ayuk. What do you think of that? I agree.
They would. Yeah, absolutely, they would. Because he run blocks and he's better than anyone they have. They don't have any good receivers. So Ayuk is heads and tails better than any one of their receivers by far. Not even close. James Renal says Juice lines up at tight end. We don't need Ertz. Well, then why did we have Dwelly on the roster if we don't need Ertz? We do. We need a catching tight end. So, yeah, no, that's not true. Ertz and Dwelly are much taller than Juice. So, not apples to apples. I hear what you're saying, but we just don't do it that often. We usually line up Juice Check in the backfield, or we'll split them out into the slot, but we usually don't line them up in line. I think it's because he's not tall enough. He's like 6'1", 6'2", whatever he is. I think he's 6. I think he's 6'2", 240-ish. What else we got? Randy said the ATM's closed. All right, I think we're caught up backwards, so I'll scoot to the bottom. Also, real quick, I should do a quick commercial break.
Go right ahead.
I got a sponsor. They're called the Travelstead Group. They're retail and hospitality logistics. They do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment, new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions, from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you via air, ocean, or land. They do closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the go-to guys there. They have 100% US-based support. So these are complex operations. There's always at least fine tuning. Sometimes snafu is good to know when you pick up the phone. You'll be talking to folks here and not some call center overseas where they have no clue what you and your business do. Check out the website. The link is in the description of the show. My Twitter X bio, YouTube about page, LinkedIn, and Facebook if you follow me there. Click the link, check out the video. Be sure you tell them Ted sent you so they know. Thanks in advance, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron, for letting me pay them bills. It's important.
Word. I see that the little argument going on between Raphael and Randy about Oliver. Raphael says Oliver is the weakest link when he was on the field. And Randy Daytona says we were 5-0. We were 5-0, but he was definitely a liability during all those games. Like if you looked at any of the negativity during that 5-0 win streak, one of them was the inability to really stop the slot receiver. I mean, just watch the Rams game. Puka Nacua was eating his freaking lunch the whole game.
15 receptions.
Like they could not stop
halftime or something.
Any of it. And that was mainly in the slot. So they were 5-0. Just because you're winning doesn't mean that there are flaws or holes in your team. I mean, any 49er fan who's not a complete homer will watch a game and be like, yeah, we won, but only people like some of the Bills fans that I live around here were just like completely blinded. Where like there's nothing wrong, everything's roses. It's like not there. Puka Nacua looked like a Hall of Famer, like Bass said against us, and that was mainly because Oliver was covering him. The Niners defense, they gave up a lot of yards to the Eagles, but did the Eagles really ever threaten in that game other than early on and maybe the drive after the big penalty? No. They were never threatening, and that's crazy to think. And I think, like Ted said, it's a mix of the pass rush mixed with them fixing their secondary and telling Isaiah Oliver to freaking kick rocks, man.
Raphael says Oliver's the weakest link when he's on the field. I agree. Yes. You are the weakest link, and it's not even close. Juice Bash says Juice is overpaid. I don't know if he's overpaid. I think he's just underutilized. I think there's a difference. I think he's worth what we pay him. We just don't use him enough.
I just feel like they talked about when we had that guy in this offseason that fullback we had, and I thought we were going to use him. I thought he was the future. Everybody kept talking about him. Whatever his last name is, you guys can help me out. And then we ended up letting him go. So pretty disappointed in that. I forget his name. Does everybody know that? Anybody know the fullback that we had? Was it Coletto? I think Jack it was Coletto.
Yeah. I think he's with
Raphael size 5'6" says Hurts process is slow. I did notice that.
I think he's with Green Bay, I want to say now, or the Bears. I forget. It's funny. I just saw his name today because I was going through calling some people that I follow that don't follow me back, and he was one of them. So he's not on the team anymore. So see you, Jack, unless you come back. Because I try to follow all our active players.
Always Drip. I just asked us. He's way at the bottom, very bottom. He says, "Do you think Zach Ertz signs here?" It's up to the Niners. I'm going to assume the Niners could sign him today if they wanted to, but it seems like
somebody was saying that Zach and his wife Julie both went to college here in the Bay Area, so that never hurts.
But and anybody who's really like against the Zach Ertz thing, what's the negative of bringing in Zach Ertz?
It's a few $1 million.
We're not going to.
Not your money. It ain't your money.
That's what I always tell people. It ain't your freaking money. Why are you worried? The Niners know what they're doing. They have one of the best cap guys in the NFL.
Aaron, I don't give a shit about next year. Win a fucking ring. Win a fucking ring now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I'm clipping that. We're gonna clip that after. I have to put that up. Oh, that is the most truest statement. I'll let you four letter get vulgar with it, dude. Exactly. I'm so sick of talking about next year.
Yeah.
Let's do
Exactly.
it.
And next year, there's other moves that can be made to save money next year too. Don't think that you have to have it all figured out before we even go to our draft or free agency and stuff.
Always Drip says as long as we take them away from the Eagles. Exactly.
Yeah.
The Eagles are reeling, son. They're reeling, and they still got a better record than us. Think about that. We're in their head. Now we just got to make sure that we stay in our own.
That's the exact reason is you keep them away from the Eagles and we get them here. It's a win-win for sure.
Anything that the Niners are doing this particular season, people, you cannot be worried about the future.
Yeah, if you were there in 2020, you remember when Kittle and Reed were on the field, it was great to see. It was so rare because Kittle missed like 8-10 games that season.
And Reed, he got a
catch. He had an MCL and he had a broken foot. He had a broken foot against the Seahawks in Seattle. And then Reed had like multiple injuries, which he kind of always does. And so they barely played together. But when they did, it was definitely pretty cool to see us with two real tight ends for once.
Randy Daytona says we lost 3 games because the schedule was rigged.
He predicted them. He predicted Browns. He predicted Vikings, and he predicted Bengals.
I think a lot of us picked us to lose to the Bengals.
He just took it too far, man. He said Jags too, and he kept pushing all in. Like that's the thing about pushing all in. You can do it once or twice, but after you do it like three times, like that fourth time, it'll get you. But he was pretty spot on.
Itchy95 says Zach grew up in the Bay Area. And 49er Minded says, yeah, Zach did. One of my friends went to school with him. So, yeah, it's just a given. He needs to come here. It's written in the stars, people. It's written in the stars. He's got to come here.
It's destiny, man. It's going to happen. I sure
Randy Daytona, always double down, baby. Yeah, you got, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying, like, as far as my draft needs next year, like right after tackle for me is like a tight end who can block and catch. And Ertz is not a blocking tight end, but like we're not replacing a blocking tight end. We're replacing a catching tight end, and he's a very good catching tight end still, even at this advanced age. So I'd love to have Zach Ertz. Absolutely.
I think the 49ers should.
I'd love to get another running back at some point to replace TDP too.
I think the 49ers should move on from Brandon Ayuk.
You do. Yes. Somebody said that, or you do?
I believe that. I believe that they need to get a draft haul for him, and I believe that they should. They got to do something in order. Because I look at the freaking Chase Young on this defensive line, and I'm like, you cannot break that up. You got to find a way to keep that together. You got to.
A lot of people think he'll stay for less.
Yeah, I don't.
That's why I said a lot of people.
If it's me, especially if I win a ring and someone wants to offer me some money, bye. Yeah. I'm trying to secure my family's future.
Love you, brother Bosa. Got to go. Bye-bye. Yeah. What else was there? There was something else.
James Darnell says, wash your damn mouth. BA is a god.
I like Brandon Ayuk a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be sad if we kept him, but I mean, I'm thinking maybe more like Hufanga's money since Jair Brown is playing pretty well. Maybe it's Hufanga's money, and I don't know where else you got to pull from. Maybe the cap will go up. Well, cap usually goes up more. Yeah,
that's true.
A good sign.
DJ Grace said he's young. Chase Young's getting paid. Yeah, I just sucks, man. I mean, and I mentioned and maybe draft another defensive lineman. I don't know.
And I mentioned picking up a running back or drafting a running back next year. Well, Frank Gore Jr. comes out next year. So
I saw that. He looks just like his dad, too. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, spitting image, no doubt.
He is a spitting image of his pappy. Hope his knees are the same as his pappy's. And they can...
Until then, I think it's going to be Mr. McNichols, Jeremy McNichols, who's on our practice squad. I think we're going to elevate him to the 53-man roster at some point here and protect him because he's our only running back on the practice squad. He was pretty good in preseason, if I recall correctly. I think he was in there some when Trey Lance was in, and I remember watching.
I just can't believe that they could just throw out third round picks like that. Like it's so. it's so
How much does a
wasteful.
third round pick cost?
I don't know.
They're probably
How much-
more than the league minimum, right? And so that could be it. It could be.
Oh, James Jernal made a good point. He
When
says
we
not
can't even
worried.
get Mason in, why are we worried about TDP?
Right. True. James Jernal said, not worried about money. Juice is halfway out the door. We lose D Ford's dead cap, and Trent might right out into the sunset. We can make room for BA. True. 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 All true. I listen. Priority number one is to get an offensive tackle next year's draft. You have to.
Yeah.
You got to move picks around. You got to try. You got to trade up probably in the top 15 to top 20, closer to the top 15. You got to go get You got to get a tackle. You have to. There's no choice. You cannot go into the season with McKivitz and who's the other guy that we have that played when Trent was out? Like
Jalen Moore.
Yeah, you do that, you're gonna get your quarterback injured.
Matt Pryor.
Yeah. So
let's see.
But let's talk about the offseason and the offseason, okay? Okay.
Okay. Well, I was gonna bring up one thing.
Okay, go ahead. You can do it.
I was gonna do 2024 free agent offensive lineman. So Jason Kelsey is off. That's not what we're looking for, though.
I mean, he'd be better than Brendel. Anybody on that Eagles offensive line is not affordable.
Byron Smith, Andrus Pete, Dwayne Brown. He's old. Zeitler, Connor Williams, Trent Brown. Trent Brown. God, can you imagine? Bring him back after all these years.
Mm-mm.
There's not a lot out there. Lucas Patrick. I mean, as you can imagine, like nobody lets good
things that you need to draft and keep: edge, offensive tackle, quarterback.
Yeah.
When you have those things, you draft them, you keep them. People are like, "Oh, you could just go replace a guy in the draft." No, it doesn't work like that. Look what happened with us with Buckner. Kinlaw, yeah, maybe he's doing a couple things here and there this season, but dude, he's been a complete bust. You just can't go player for player. People are like, well, you'd be doing that for Trent. Well, yeah, because Trent's retiring. You got to get a guy. But like, you can't essentially, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way, man. You can't just sit there and think that, that you cannot risk going into a season with not a solidified offensive line. It's going to suck, man. Trent is so good. Man, when you watch games and Trent is healthy, dude, we're so lucky. We're so loaded. This team is so being loaded, man. It's ridiculous. This is like a renaissance era right now of the 49ers. We got to live in this era and just enjoy it because it's not always going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane.
Probably not in 2 years when Purdy gets paid.
Right. Purdy's probably going to get paid if he keeps playing well. And I think he'll be a better quarterback for it once in 2 years, People are like, oh, in 2 years, but I think he'll have gotten even better. I don't think Purdy's a slouch. Does he benefit from his weapons? Yes, of course. All quarterbacks do when they have weapons. What's he supposed to do? Not throw to him? Tell him to bench him? Yeah, can you put him on the bench? I want to see if I could do it without him. No. Joe Montana, yeah, that Rice guy, sit him on the bench. I'd rather throw to Mike Sherrard. Like, are you kidding me? No.
Steve-O Supremo in the house. So even our punter
is solid, right? He doesn't have the length, pause, but he has the boom,
He gets it high and lots of hang time and not long gross punts, but very long net punts, and that's all that matters.
Raphael 6562 says, how many Hall of Famers are on this team right now?
Trent, Fred,
Kittle. Christian
CMC.
McCaffrey is definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer right now.
Kittle should be.
Steve-O, we got to talk. Where is it? Who asked? how many Hall of Fame. Let's not talk about that right now. I don't want to. I don't want to look into the future. I want to. I want to be. I want to be in the present.
I think Debo will make it.
Now you're getting a little crazy. Let's talk about reality here.
I do. I think Debo will make it.
Ted's like, kiss my ass. Freaking
shit. If Mooney Ward keeps playing like he has been the last 2 games, he'll make it.
They're all Hall of Famers. We're gonna be like what's her name, giving out cars. You get a car. You get a Hall of Famer. You get a Hall of Famer.
Oprah. Yes.
Bosa.
You get a jacket. You get Bosa. Absolutely, yeah.
And people say, "Oh, he needs all this help around him." Dude, he was like literally the only pass rusher on the team. So shut up. Freaking triple teamed. Yeah, okay. Like really. Let's go down that rabbit hole.
No doubt.
Yeah, one guy, and you expect him to carry the defensive line? Are you kidding me?
There you go. Always drip in the house.
He and Debo do kick returns, right? Who else thought Debo looked amazing doing kick returns? I was worried about him getting hurt, but I was like, dude, this dude looks solid. He looks like he's built for it,
No doubt. Yeah. No.
It's just QB accuracy rating, 10-yard splits are individual stats that he is elite at. It's true. Yeah.
I think playoff games and playoff type games, you could have Debo return kicks. Just you're not going to do it every week. It's too risky, in my opinion. I think we've pretty much covered everything we came to do today.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great audience interaction. Thank you, Aaron, as always.
Absolutely.
Any other? What you got coming up? Anything you want to?
I have me and Raj tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Me and Bash this Saturday. I think it's on Bash's channel. Me and Bash, it's kind of, because he's got things going on sometimes. So, but it should be earlier afternoon. I think we did it at 6 p.m. So, which was like 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And it seemed to work out pretty well. So, those are my 2 shows. I'm actually kind of working on something with the 49er UK guys. I'm going to see if they want to do something this week. They have like a 4-hour. They're 4 hours ahead of us, so I got to figure something out. But I was watching their show.
5 hours ahead of you.
And they gave me a shout out and called me one of the big guys, and I was just like, meant a lot to me.
Yeah, no, they're great. Paul and Lee Galland and Nick Ludlam and all them.
I need to meet up. I need to go out there and meet up with them. They can go take me to some bars or something.
Oh man,
even though I don't drink.
That'd be fun. Well, let me know when you go. I'll try and get a hall pass.
Big bruiser motherfuckers going out there. Me and you. People are like, who are these big honkers?
You should have seen the size of the Scottish guy that was there at the game, man. He was like 6'8", 450. I mean, the dude was just fucking giant and wearing a kilt. He was
6'8", 450. I have a friend who's about 6'8".
He
ain't 450
enormous.
though.
I felt teeny tiny next to him. I was just like, oh my god.
That is.
Yeah.
49er Minus says, which means I have to stay on YouTube and not quit.
There you go.
I don't know, guys. It's the whole thing with this YouTube thing is you have to have expectations for yourself. And if you don't reach them over a certain period of time, you have to reevaluate why you're doing it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people that I really like. And that, to me, is what makes it difficult and why I flip-flop so much. You know what I mean? So
all you need to do is just get better co-hosts, dude. I mean, come on. It's so obvious.
I need to start kissing better ass, I guess.
That's right.
Which is something I'm not really good at. So that's why I'm not successful, I guess.
No, it's just, these things, they go, if you're ups and you're down.
I'm done with the messaging and trying to set things up with people that have big names. It makes you feel cheap that you have to sit out there and be like, hey, let's go on your show. Oh, you can only have me on for 10 minutes? No, I'll pass. Oh, you can have me on, but you got to be done early. It's like there's all these rules, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me just F with the guys that I already do it with, that we have a good time doing it. And we'll have our shitty 20 views that we have during our live stream. And there's nothing you can do about it anymore, man. Like it is what it is. It's hierarchy, you know. There's
Hang
the
in
toppy
there.
top. No,
Just hang
so
in there. It'll turn. It'll turn. We're all rising, and eventually we will all make it to where we want to be. It may not be on that initial timeline. That's all.
all I
We
gotta
will,
say is, I
we
mean,
will all make it.
we could pay for subs like some people do that we know
Oh Jesus! No,
on
never.
Twitter, or not. See, I'm on TikTok and on YouTube. Like, oh,
No, that was that 49ers cast guy I was talking about. That guy's the worst. Pays for everything. Didn't never earned a damn thing in his life. So what do you got here? Oh, I was gonna mention my stuff. I've got
okay.
My weekly show, Faithful Dogs, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, with Mike from the Man Cave. He's a Browns fan, great guy. If you haven't checked us out, please do. I got Behind Enemy Lines Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. with the lovely Candace Higgins. She's great, Seahawks creator, but we won't hold that against her. And then Bash, 3 p.m. Friday,
Nice.
6 p.m. Eastern for Balling with Bash.
I've got to come out and meet you guys.
Yeah, you do.
Laura, Bash, everybody.
Yeah, we gotta go to a game.
I know.
Oh, also, I was going to mention something too about like, hey, yeah, even if the Eagles win or the Cowboys beat the Eagles, like we still got the Ravens Christmas Day. We got the Seahawks this weekend. I'm not predicting a Seahawks loss when I was saying a letdown. It was sort of like what I said about the Browns. I thought we would have a letdown. I predicted a letdown versus the Browns.
You were right.
But I predicted a win. I just didn't expect all those injuries. So I don't expect a bunch of injuries this week. I'm still predicting a win, but I think it might be closer than a lot of people think. And I think Vegas has us like 10.5-point favorites or something crazy. I think that's too much for a division rival. And then the other one to watch out for, sneaky at the end of the season, could be the Rams. You know, with Kyron Williams is playing well, the Cup's back. Puka's been balling the whole damn time.
Yeah, they have nothing to play for. At least I think they're going to at that point.
They're still in. They're 6-6. They're still alive in the playoff race. They can be eliminated lots of different ways out of their control, but they're still in it right now.
Yeah, Niners need to take care of business, man. I mean, the Eagles game, like I said, the Eagles game was great. We kicked their butt, but we haven't accomplished our ultimate goal. So I think a lot of 49ers guys said that, they celebrated it on the flight home, but by the time they got back to the West Coast, it was like, we'll go on Seattle. I'm pretty sure that these guys don't need to be instructed and told and motivated to get ready for another opponent, because I mean, what are you getting all that money for? I was really piped. Yeah. I was really hyped after that game, but or soon after, I remember tweeting something like, we took care of business, but we accomplished nothing. And people are like, oh, you got to learn to live in the moment. I'm like, I did, but I'm past it. It's like,
the moment's over.
I lived in that moment for about 2 hours after the game. And then I'm like, all right, let's go beat Seattle. Like, we haven't done anything.
I saw some score predictions here. Did you want to make one?
Sure. I'm going to go and say we win 31-19.
I love it. I'm going to say 28-20.
Okay, a little closer. Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to come in motivated to try to derail us. But we're the better team.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you slice it. More talented. We have the better quarterback. We have the better weapons. We have the better defense. So it's just a matter of stopping that initial push that teams have when they come in, when they essentially don't have anything to play for and they're trying to spoil you. Get past all that and then get into the real, the girth of the game, the middle part. Pause.
The meat and potatoes.
49er Minded says 32-17 was his prediction yesterday. We're close. Cool. Well, we think alike, Bash. Bash always has to get my opinion when he sees something ridiculous. It's like, I've got to ask Aaron about this. I forgot what it was. And I'm like, oh, like anytime I see someone half dressed, all of a sudden has a YouTube channel and they have all these subscribers, and Bash is like, what is your thoughts on that? And I'm like, oh, the fact that they're half dressed and all of a sudden they've got 1,000 subs out of nowhere and they suck at football and they have no idea what they're talking about. Like, he knows that I'm going to flip out on that. So he likes to put me in a mental space with that one. Yeah. What do you think about this?
There you go. We got a big guy in the house, Jupiter size. My son's been doing a lot of planets.
Oh, I know her.
Panels. Oh, sorry. Her. Sorry. Pardon. Jupiter size. My bad.
I'm gonna smack you, Ted.
And I don't want to call a woman big, that's for sure. But Jupiter is the biggest planet, so that had to be the meaning of the handle. So she's a big deal. Let's say that. If not big in stature, she's a big deal. Maybe I
Hell
could
yeah.
spin it that way. But welcome, and we are wrapping things up though. So I will just say thanks to everybody who came out. Thank you, Aaron. Peace. Go Niners and beat them Hawks.
See you, everybody.